What's up, guys? I'm Peter.
And I'm Dustin.
And we are on Men of the Hour with Justin.
We talk about, mental health, careers, projects.
Gratitude, New York City, why we love it so much. Crazy stories, a little bit of pilot lingo here and there.
Yeah, good times, little question game. Yeah. Make sure you guys tune in.
All right, guys.
Welcome back. Thanks for clicking play. This is the Men of the Hour. I'm Justin Crawford, and we're in for a good treat. I'm so excited right now. We got Pete Weber and Dustin Kendrick. They're friends. They're bachelors in the city. They got a show called Bachelors in the City. It's a podcast that they launched not too long ago. They're co-hosts, they're roommates, they're friends of mine, and such genuine people that I think I'm so glad to have met in New York City. Thank you. Thank you for saying yes, for sitting on a Zoom call with me for this next hour, boys.
Hey man, no problem. In a hurricane for you,
Hey, we got you.
Anytime,
man. We are stoked to be here, and that'll be a good episode.
We're gonna preface this great episode with the fact that we are sitting in a nice little hurricane in New York. All three of us were in the Hamptons in different parts yesterday. Texted the two of them, and I asked them if they would let me air this within 24 hours of recording. I think this is the first time we've done this on the podcast. Everything, you guys know this. You pre-tape it. You can like zhuzh with it, cut the tape or whatever, but this is going to go straight to air tomorrow. So I'm very excited. We have a whole hour, boys, but I do think this is one of the most authentically not put together conversations that I'll be able to have, to be honest. I was building your run a show. You guys are just dope. I've always had respect for you guys, but even knowing that you had gotten off of a reality show, listen, everybody knows you guys were on that show, but to have met you after the show and know that you guys have a lot with you with your jobs and your lifestyles, that's something that I've come to admire now. We'll get into all that. We're going to get into a little bit of the show. Got a rapid fire question about your guys' experience in New York City today. We'll talk about the podcast, your experiences in general, and then most importantly, what it's like to really have a job where your lifestyle kind of it becomes your life, right? And I think that's a really good place to be, and that's where all three of us are now. I got to start with genuine friendship building, right? So we can talk about the two of your friendship, for instance. How did you even get to a place where you guys decided to be roommates? We'll start there.
Yeah, so that was honestly, I'm super thankful for Dusty, and it worked out. Timing was kind of perfect. It was an imperfect kind of situation that turned into a perfect situation. I had just gotten out of a serious relationship with Kelly, and we were going to come out to New York together. We're going to move out here, and obviously that didn't happen, and it kind of unraveled at the last minute, right before the New York plans were about to take off. And so I still ended up coming out, obviously, and I remember calling Dusty up and just chatting. I didn't, actually, I think I only knew you, dude. You're the first person that I came into the city and I met, and you took me under your wing and we got lunch, and that was awesome. But I didn't know very many other people right in the city, so I was calling Dusty one day and I was like, hey man, come on out if you want, and spend a week and we can just explore and kind of get my bearings here a little bit. And ended up just turning into more conversations of, well, hey, what do you think about actually moving out here? And I got a second room, so you want to move in? And Dusty said yes. Yeah. And it's been
a month later, yeah, moved right in. Happened quick.
Real quick. I do have a little bit of persuasion, to my credit. So
use car salesman.
Yeah, I've gotten that a lot.
Because then you guys were both in Chicago together, remind me, right? You guys were both living in Chicago prior to this.
Yeah, for a few months during the pandemic. We watched a lot of TV and
yeah, we did when everything was kind of shutting down. We quarantined together out there in Chicago, and that kind of really helped. We were good friends before, but that obviously just built it even more, and led to us finally moving in here in New York a couple months after.
Yeah,
I fucking love that. And I think when I see the two of you, it screams authentic broship, right? Broship, friendship, bromance, whatever you want to call it. I think it's such a special thing. I forgot to drop this at the top of the introduction of the two of you. My name is Justin, and so is pretty much everybody else Pete and Dustin hang out with. It's really funny. We ran around the city. Yo, it's insane. I was like, well, maybe, right? I didn't know there were so many Justins in New York.
I'm surprised you want to hang out with me. I'm just like, my name is so different. So
I know. But yeah, all of our friends are named Justin in the city. It's insane.
Literally.
Yeah.
I think that's
three Justins.
All right, Dustin and Justin's. So I wonder, you brought this up, Pete, when you first came here, you were kind of solo, and then Dustin, you came a little after. Do you guys think it was hard to make friends in general. I was going to get to this a little later, but in New York City especially, this is the city. This is like the metro of like every little thing you can think of social wise. And everybody keeps telling me that it is quite difficult to make friends. But from your perspective, what is that?
I think from my perspective, this is my fourth city I moved to, and I felt very lonely in these other cities I moved to. This one has been the total opposite. I feel like I almost took on too many friends too quick, um, which is never a bad thing. It's just kind of hard to socialize with everyone, I would say. But no, I met a lot of great people right off the bat. I think we just been lucky enough to meet people from all angles of New York. Like
Mhm.
I've only been here for 7 months, but I feel like I've been here for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
The connections I made, I think I've been very fortunate. I think we've been very fortunate in meeting like great people here, and that's
Very
not,
lucky.
yeah, and that's never the case. Never
Mm,
the case in moving to a new city.
We've been able to build a really great community out here. Feel very fortunate about that. I think for me, coming from, this is really my first city that I moved to, right? I was out in LA, but it was suburbs, so it was a lot different kind of lifestyle. And so just the sheer difference of moving to a city and everything that presents, with just convenience and whatnot and meeting people. Honestly, for me, I would say it wasn't too difficult. I think it's a lot easier to kind of establish roots in a city with so much going on, whether it's via sports leagues or going
mm.
to shows or whatever it is, just restaurants, any night of the week. You don't really get that same opportunity in the suburbs as a city. So it's been cool.
We'll get to some stereotype breaking a little later. I got a list of questions for you guys that I want you to give me true or false to. So we'll get back to New York City in a second. Back to friendship though. So I've never been on a show. I'm just gonna put that out there. People think I have. Someone was like, "Are you dating a celebrity?" I was like, "Or what do they say? Oh, are you like on Summer House?" No, but you guys have been on shows, and that's never not going to be a part of your name. Sadly, now maybe not sadly, gratefully, right? I think you guys have both told me those were great experiences for what they were worth back then. But then here we are going to, where was it? Somewhere, nowhere, or whatever it was. I think Justin was dragging Pete that night. Dustin, I think you were out of town, or yeah, you probably were. But anyway, it's as if like even as you're trying to make genuine friends in New York City, you're still going to get Dustin from The Bachelorette, Pilot Pete from that one show on ABC Network. So how does that sit with the two of you as you want to make a new life for yourself here? I take it you guys will stay here just like I will for a long time. But as you know that that's part of your past, what are you looking for now in friendship and communities, as opposed to always just being like that guy from those shows?
I'll
Yeah,
go
go
for
for it.
I will say, for one, I mean, yeah, we're both very appreciative for the opportunities, the things we've done just for the show. The things that we've received for going on the show. It's just been amazing. But I try personally to try to. I don't want to be Dustin from The Bachelor anymore, Bachelorette. I'm more than just that. There's so much more to me. I want people to see that. I want to build things other than things to do with like Bachelor Nation. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's the challenge. Again, very grateful for everything that's come our way, but it's time for us. Well, um, I don't know how you put it. Like we
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like you're never going to fully lose, obviously, that kind of label that's, like you said, it's going to be associated with your name for, at least the foreseeable future. And, that kind of just is what it is. We signed up for that. And, there's pros, with that, there's cons, just like
Mm,
anything in life. I think for me, the biggest thing that I've kind of learned, and I truly mean this like in the best, nicest way, is like, you only have so much time. You only have so much energy to be able to give
mm,
in everyday life, right? And just having this kind of experience and how that kind of changed your life in a way. At first, it's just like it's eye opening. You're like, wow, like this is insane. There's just so much attention. Like you're not used to this. It's a whole new world, whole new experience. And learning how to navigate that, it's taken me a little bit. We've talked about it.
Mhm.
You have to be very careful with just where you invest all your energy and your time, and because you do feel that pull a lot sometimes, and not it's truly not, I don't mean that to come off like in a bad way or like ungrateful way, but just investing and taking care of yourself, and spending because time is the most valuable commodity we have, right? So learning where to give that is a lesson I've learned.
mm. But it's nice to be able to give that to your work. The two of you, like when I see you traveling on social and stuff, it's very admirable. Not many people travel for work and leisure. You know what I mean? I think Pete, you were in Cabo, or where were you 2 days ago?
I was in
You
Cabo,
had
yeah.
landed in Cabo, but it
Yeah.
was like on a work trip. And then Dustin, you were in where, like, Chicago, maybe picking up a friend about to come back over. I'm just like speaking off of like story memories, I think. But you were traveling, but then you also picked up a guaranteed karma event while you were there. So it's like that's what I've meant earlier, like what 10 minutes ago when I said like your work can become a lifestyle. Pete, to your point, when you begin to do that and you can somewhat socialize and make friends through this stuff. It's how we met. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
interviewed you on like an Instagram show a long time ago.
That's
What
right.
feels like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And from there I was like, oh my God, like dude's fucking great. Not only were you coming to New York, but now Dustin's with you. Now we
Yep.
all know the same people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we're
Yeah.
going to continue running in similar circles, and it's great. But because we can do that, and the fact that like this is almost, and I texted the two of you, oh, it's good. I promise it'll be like a therapy session. You know, I would never waste the both of your time because it's valuable. And I fucking like, we're going to talk about that for a second, actually. So like time in general, I think people, someone who sleeps 8 hours like me I will never, that's a non-negotiable. The two of you, same thing. You're going to get your sleep. But then what you spend with the other 16, sometimes 17, 18 hours in the day is going to go by really fucking fast when you think about how much you got to pee, you got to brush your teeth, you got to commute somewhere, you have to like maybe answer emails, you have to do work, you want to socialize. But then the two of you, I remember you came to my birthday party, and that's a huge one, right? I think when you decide to go to someone's birthday or a life moment of someone else's, that's how you know that you see something in that friendship. So aside from me, we'll get off Justin Crawford's back. Obviously, you have two other Justins and plenty of other friends, but how are you guys evaluating those relationships going into them, knowing that it's going to take a lot of time to build those friendships? Think about it, right? Like all of us, nonetheless, we want friends, but then we also have like thousands of people on Instagram that we can share our day with. So it's like, how do you guys evaluate friendships knowing that you want that person to be your friend here in New York City?
Ooh,
Good
good
question.
question.
Yeah. That's a really good question. It's I mean, I've just always been, my whole mantra with that is obviously it's the quality over quantity type thing with friendships. And I've never been someone like I need to have, like be the most popular guy and have all the friends and this huge I don't need that. I don't mind it. Like I don't mind being around a lot of people and whatnot, but um it's I've always kind of been, and people don't believe me when I say this, but I'm more of an introvert than people I think actually think I am. I just have always been that way. Always been kind of the shy guy growing up through school and whatnot. And so I there's few people that I really kind of like I fuck with. Like I really like can get close with and whatnot, and I'm totally okay with that. And I mean, I guess maybe at some points I've maybe wondered if like I should be that way, if I should try to like expand a little bit more. But I'm 30 now, and with what wisdom I can have in 30 years, I'm just like, no, I enjoy the people that I'm really close with that mean a lot to me in my life. And I do a lot to invest in those friendships. And not to say that I can't grow more friendships. I mean, always open, but I'm not necessarily, I don't need that kind of thing mentality.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think what we go by is vibes, energy. I think energy attracts us. I think we attract other people to us because our energy's right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily trying to build a friendship. It kind of just happens with the energy. You guys just, hey, when I see you, we vibe, we connect, feels good. Next time I see you, and like no effort, it's always consistently like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think people shouldn't really concentrate on trying to build too many friends. I think I'm now just realizing that too many friends, I kind of get anxiety. So many birthdays, so many this, so many that, to kind of keep up with.
Weddings.
I
Holy
think
shit, the
I
amount
got
of
so many
weddings.
coming up.
weddings, yeah,
I
weddings.
got two weddings, and I can't make both of them because I'm in one of them. Two of my really close friends' weddings same day in September. I'm like, holy
Oh
shit.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, they're both in LA and they're very close to each other, so I can hopefully
I
make
was gonna
the
say
second
you
one
could
a little
still
bit.
get FaceTime with both of them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the thing. You say that I think we're all socially anxious right now in 2021.
Socially, yeah.
You know,
I really enjoy being 33. I've been enjoying my quiet time a lot more. Um, I know I
It's a
love,
very yin and yang thing
yeah,
though,
it
because we're in the
is.
city and there's so much opportunity for like just the action, the go, that energy. But yeah, that quiet time it's
That
super
quiet time
crucial.
is good. And also I understand too, like not everyone is in the same circumstance. Not some people don't have friends.
Mm,
And I understand like they need to go out there and make new friends. And yeah, they do, you know. And everyone's in different positions. Some people have too like a lot of friends and whatnot, but I don't know. It just depends on the person. I know we're kind of getting off track, but I don't know. Friendship's something deep. I think it's a
mm.
lot of different layers. I think
You can never force it, obviously, just like really any kind of relationship. And yeah, it's something that's going to be natural, and if it's going to take off, it's just going to happen. And um yeah, like there was never anything like for it was kind of a we were close on the show,
yeah,
but then we got way closer obviously after the
yeah,
show, and just he'd come out to LA, or I'd be visiting in Chicago, and obviously then living with each other you become really close. But
yeah.
Mm,
um
I would tell people this though, moving to a new city. I think this was a subject we were kind of on. Just have good energy. You're gonna
mm,
attract the right people, the right friendship. I
mm.
tell people this all the time. Your energy is your best currency.
yeah.
You don't need to have a platform. You don't need to have a lot of money. You don't need to be doing all these different things. If you have good energy, you'll attract good people.
Hmm.
Mhm. And strangers too. You know, I think it was yesterday. I was where was I at? I think I was at a grocery store and I was getting ready to leave. I did the Hamptons in a day. You know what I mean? You guys, I think
Yeah.
one of you guys did too, right? It's hard. You go out there, you do your thing, you make FaceTime, and you come home. But as I'm doing that, I'm like, oh my God, so many cool people in the city. Like I'm the epitome, I think, of like Energizer Bunny, or at least I try to be. And like you guys, I've told you that many times, but I do that because I feel like the person at the grocery store probably doesn't have a friend. You know what I mean? And I think that's why I wanted to talk about that with you guys for the past so many minutes, because I feel like even when you're in a busy ass city like this, you can take 30 seconds and say hey to someone, but like New York is good at that, right?
Hmm.
People are very receptive to energy here. Dustin, to your point, it's great. All right, I want to get into what you guys do as jobs. And your fans probably know, but they don't really know. So I could go read your biographies, but I'm just gonna start with you, Pete. You're obviously a full-time pilot, but describe to us what that job is for you now, and why you chose to do it, man. I mean, now your people's lives are in your hands to some capacity, literally to some full capacity. Everybody's traveling nowadays, and
Yeah.
that's like an honor. My dad was in the Air Force, and I think that it's so cool when you get to handle a job like that. But describe your job to us, and why you chose to ultimately have your job really be of service to other people.
Yeah, I mean, I always knew from a very, very early age that I wanted to be a pilot. My dad, he's an airline pilot for United, and just growing up in my family, I just was exposed to it, on such a consistent basis. My mom used to be a flight attendant, so always just had that awe whenever I did go to an airport, whenever I'd see an airplane flying above. I would always be, turned up, and just could never get enough of airplanes. Just the feeling I never felt. I tell people it was my first love was flying. Like it was the first time I ever felt something that was like unexplainable, and it just like you just can't satiate it. And so growing up, always knew I wanted to do that. Was considering possibly going to the Air Force and going that route. I wanted to be the fighter pilot, the kind of Top Gun type vibe. I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world, and considered that for a little bit, but ended up going the civilian route, and did my flight training, through just a civilian, like I said, the civilian route, local airport out in LA. And about a year and a half later, got all my ratings. And, there's a process to become a pilot to get to the airlines. But, a couple of years later, finally got on, actually just recently, with United Airlines, which has always been my dream airline to fly for. And just finished up training about a couple weeks ago. So my last trip that I just got back from was my first trip that I was actually qualified on after training. And it's been great, man. It's a lot of people thought I was going to leave my job and quit it. You go on the show, and yeah, some people do that and they pursue other opportunities. But for me, I think I've been really lucky that I've been able to still, take advantage of pursuing other cool opportunities that came from the show, while also pursuing my true passion and something I want to do until the day I have to retire, when I'm 65. God willing, I can make that with, my health. So, I feel very fortunate, man. It's like the best of both worlds for me, and I'm having the time of my life doing it.
It's a good feeling. Congrats on the training part, Dustin. So you're what I would consider a self-born entrepreneur, and I did one of your cleanups, and I hope to do many more. But there's something special there with Guaranteed Karma. I know you're also building a couple of other things. I want to help you build some of those things. So tell us about everything that you're doing aside from all the social extravaganza that we quite often see.
Yeah, my OnlyFans is doing really good right now.
I would hope so, right? People can pay their rent on
JK,
fucking
No,
JK.
didn't they
OnlyFans.
just shut that down now? I think that was because of
JK.
Dustin. Dusty shut down the Riverwalk and OnlyFans.
I
This is
told-
how much.
Just
Hey,
imagine a
that.
profile named Dusty.
Hey,
People are probably like, "What's on here?"
Hey, I tell myself all the time, being an entrepreneur is hard, guys. Like you have ups and downs. I always told myself if I hit rock bottom, at least I always have OnlyFans to go to if I need to.
Hey, it's a good backup plan, man. Insurance.
Yeah, but just being an entrepreneur, man, I'm trying to build things. You know, coming from this show, I think it's given me a platform, and I want to share. I want to inspire people, and I want to build things. You know, I just don't want to be known as Dustin from the Bachelorette. I want to build something that's gonna take off and live long. And yeah, Guaranteed Karma. That's like my baby at the moment. Guaranteed Karma is a volunteering platform which we reward volunteers with local businesses, like almost like a Groupon and a volunteer page put together. Yeah, and we're going to also be working with corporate companies and help them navigate where they can have their employees volunteer as well. Working on hopefully next year an app, a social platform for Guaranteed Karma. But other than that, I just like to build things and raise money for charities. We do a fitness in the park where we raise money for charities back in Chicago. I want to start that here in New York. We have our podcast, which is going really well. I'm really actually, I don't know. It's like me and Pete were always the type just to chat it out, and we just figured, why don't we just share these chats with the world? And it's been a lot of fun. We just shoot the shit, the real things that are on our minds, and it's been doing really good. And yeah, just taking any opportunity that comes our way. With it has to do with like, I don't know, hosting, acting, just saying yes to things. I think that's a big one. And I'm gonna be a yes man, and I think
Yeah,
that's
literally started our time here as roommates, just being a yes man.
Yeah.
You know, he said yes to, and yeah,
Ain't nothing wrong with being a yes man. You saw the movie. Was it Jim Carrey? I forget who was in
Yeah,
it.
that was Jim
Yes.
Carrey.
Yeah. Also, when are you gonna come? I'm bartending on Wednesday nights. Every Wednesday. Come on, man. I'll get you drunk, bro.
This is I ain't trying to get drunk, bro. Actually, I was
I'm
trying
gonna
to
get you
get
drunk.
drunk on Friday night.
I'm
Listen,
gonna get you drunk, man.
I'm glad you bring that up. So I will, I want to go to LA tomorrow morning, right as I'm actually, what's so interesting, and I feel like I don't really candidly talk about this. I'm going to edit your episode at the airport and publish it right before I get on the plane.
no
So
way.
just so you know,
That's a go-getter.
Commitment.
you know what I mean? That's why it was so cool. It was like, I live off this shit. The fact that you guys said yes, right as I was like, I didn't even like, listen, I actually had 3 baked episodes I was going to put as this one if it wasn't the 2 of you, but I wanted it to be the 2 of you. And I was like, hell yeah. But if they said yes, holy shit, I was like, yeah, finally. I haven't asked them to come on yet. I've been meaning to, but I don't like to ask a lot of friends to come on the show because it feels used if it's too in time with, when we became friends. But this was the perfect timing because it's the last episode for this part. But
well, you could pay us back and you could come back on our show.
but I'm not. Listen, wait. You bring up a good point. So let's talk about getting drunk in a second. I think everybody's actually a bachelor in the city. I love your podcast, but also bachelors and bachelorettes like eat and breathe this entire city. New York City is known for people who are in their 20s to like actually 50s at this point. I've met 50-year-olds that are still single, like running around like hoodlums, and it's a cool energy. Back to that thought about energy and vibes. But holy shit, I feel like everybody I'm meeting now is like single, ready to mingle. I mean, you guys met 4 of my friends that came in from LA 2 weekends ago. I'm not going to drop their names, but like, it's so small. This place is so small. Why do you think almost everybody is single here from your guys' perspective now that you've socialized quite a bit?
He's not single anymore.
See, I wasn't going to disclose it. Thanks for telling people. I didn't want to.
He met Kat probably a little over a month ago. We were still in the dating phase, but yeah, I'm not single, but I think a lot of people are single, and I think New York's just a go-getter. Work on yourself, work on your career, and just kind of have fun and be casual with your love life. That's the vibe I get. I think everyone's on different paths when it comes to settling down. No one's on the same. I think in New York, there's no time. Like some people like to start early in different parts of the state, country, and some people like to start later. In New York, there's no time frame. Like work on yourself, do you, and then when you're ready, build an empire with someone you want to.
That's so true. Yeah, I feel like there's really no city quite like New York that allows you the opportunities to kind of work on yourself in so many aspects of your life, and just it offers so much room for growth. And so I think that's a big reason. I think logistically just speaking too, it's like New York's probably the closest thing to a real life kind of like dating app, and as human beings, I think it almost could be like a hindrance to finding someone realistic. I mean, obviously it happens, but you give someone too many options, and we're not, human beings, that we don't really do well with that, right? It's a lot. And so I think New York is just like the closest thing real life to an actual dating app where you just meet so many people on such a consistent basis. And again, it can open up an awesome every day. You have a chance that, if you are single, if you're looking, if you're in that part of your life, you can meet that person that day. You never know. There's always the opportunity for it. But I think it's a great thing.
Yeah. And depending on your sexuality, I mean, for New York, I mean, it's, if you're
free for all,
if you're a single straight man, like there's so many women out here.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like I just never, sometimes I'm just walking down the street and I'm just like, there is nothing but women on all over. It's like nothing but women.
What is it? Like 8 million people, I think, on the island?
I think so. Yeah.
And it's all 8 million women.
It's all 8 million. So yeah, if you're a single guy, it's a good place to come to, and
if you're single,
trying to find that special lady.
There's two things I admired about you guys. The hands down, and it was the fact that you guys you always have the time of your life. And then I felt this when I met the two of you in person, that you take it a day at a time. I could just sense that. I'm not an empath. People think I'm an empath from hosting this podcast. I've actually fucking turned into an empath. But you know what I mean? Like I think I sensed that. I was like, you guys are the kind of people that are so fucking busy that you have to take it a day at a time. But in doing that, you're quite present to the point where you give yourself a lot of grace for the life that you're living, which is dope, which is why you can have a lot of fun. I think they go hand in hand. But have you both always been like that?
I think we have always been like that. Like he loves this book and I read the book, but we were having this conversation. He's like, everything you're telling me is really of how like you think is from the book The Secret I read. Mm-hmm. And it's just about giving appreciation for the smallest things, and also showing like gratitude manifesting about the things you do want. And just I would say like that's just how we kind of live, and we've been very fortunate that fun things have come up, and I mean opportunities have come. I would say Pete's more so the adventure one. He's the one that's like pushing the hey, let's do this.
He flies planes for a living.
I'm more of the like I think I'm gonna chill. He talks me into it. Like funny, like last night he's like, I want to see this hurricane.
I could see that shit.
I want to see.
Let's just stand
he's
on
like,
the ground.
I want to see the eye of the. I'm like, Pete, get your ass on this bus.
I know. Listen. I will say yes. I have an adventurous side, but I think it's a good dynamic for roommates. We have that yin and yang where like we kind of balance each other. Like I need Dustin a lot, for a lot. He sets me on the straight for a lot of things. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, I think just being, like you said, being back to your question, just being present. I think we do try to do a good job of that, like day-to-day stuff. And, we talk to each other all the time, like, hey, have you manifested today? Or what do you manifest? Like we literally every single day are pretty much asking each other that. And just, especially with what Dusty does and, with guaranteed karma and whatnot, just being able to live a life. And we both try to do this of just, showing such a high level of gratitude for just, you can be grateful for. There's so many things in your life you could point to and be like, I'm so thankful that I have this or this.
Yeah, anybody can be.
You have to like just keep focused on that and not lose sight of that. And I think we're really lucky that we both are on the same kind of wavelength.
Yeah, and speaking of that, for anyone listening that like wants to live a life of positivity, also if you kind of notice people that aren't like that complain about everything and they wonder why everything goes wrong in their life because they're just manifesting that they're bringing that energy on. And like I feel like it's
Law of
always good.
attraction.
Like if someone like that is, I don't know, I'm trying to coach or preach to people, but it's like
No, it's
if
like a therapy
if
session
someone
too.
is
Hell
like
yeah, it's
in
a
your
therapy
life
session.
that's like that, I mean, you should try to explain that that's why this is happening to them. If they don't want to listen, I mean, you got to kind of cut negative people out
You
of
got
your
to cut
life.
that toxicity off
I mean,
though.
yeah, I
I
think
feel
you
like
could
Mm.
try to tell them, but you gotta, if you have people like that around you, it's just gonna, that negativity is just gonna go on to you, even if you're not being a negative person.
Mm. Yeah, and then when they are around too, and you do kind of have some love or care for them, it's a little hard to let go. So my next question, because I struggled with this, think I still struggle with this sometimes when people are a bit negative, or they're always looking to you for that optimism or hope or an energy. It's good shit. I tell people, I'm like, the three of us, part of the reason I knew this conversation was gonna be good because we're living a good fucking life, but we chose to live it that way. And listen, we're not the richest men in the world. We're not the, we aren't the most celeb, or the two of you especially. You're much higher caliber than I am. But like, at some point, you start asking yourself, like, wait, I think I have just exactly what I need, right? Or you don't ask yourself that, you tell yourself that. But as you are surrounded by people who don't necessarily have that mindset, if you don't want to let them go per se, um, do you find yourself almost coaching them, or does it feel a little forced of a friendship after they've kind of come to terms that they don't want to be as happy or optimistic as you guys? How do you deal with that?
I don't think being in New York, I don't think we've actually had to deal with that. But from past experiences, if it's someone close, you just honestly have to tell them straight up, like, hey, you are bringing negative energy into your life, and it's coming on to all of us, and you need changes to be made. And if you can't
Mm,
do that, if you can't do the bare minimum of trying to be happy, I mean, I think you just got to kind of
Yeah.
cut those losses.
I mean, like they say, like, you are who you associate with the most, right? And that kind of energy just you feed off of each other. So I think, honestly, I mean, obviously, yeah, I've had friends that, and I don't mind, I obviously I love being a hype man. I love, trying to pump people up, and we're human. We all have days where we're down and whatnot, and
yep.
you need like an inspirational talk. When I'm all about that for my friends, but for the most part, like on a consistent basis, I don't think I really I just don't surround myself with people that are on a completely different wavelength in that regard than me. So and that's just how I've just chosen to live my life, and the friends I've chosen to kind of keep and make. And but of course, like I said, we're not perfect, and there are those times where those conversations are necessary, and I love doing
Mm,
that. I love
Yeah.
helping my friends out,
yeah.
and spreading that love, that positivity.
I heard a great quote. It's called, "Don't wait for the good times to be happy.
Yeah.
Mm,
You could be happy even in the bad times. Don't wait for the good times, because those, I mean, you're wasting time. You're not on here forever. So always
yeah.
be happy. Like going back, you can find the smallest things to be happy about.
Even in COVID right now, you could find, obviously it's been horrible, devastating to the world, but
Mm,
if you look hard enough, you can find stuff that you're grateful for that's happened in this season. Like that's just a fact. And some people may choose to not have that perspective in life and be like, how could you say that or whatnot? But that's just the perspective they're choosing to
mm-hmm.
have. It's all about perspective and how you want to look at things. And yeah, that quote's great. I 100% stand by that.
Don't steal that from me.
Very mine. Hey,
He
he'll
stole it
invoice
before you
me.
said it, dude. You guys are roommates. He probably thought about it before you. How about this one, though? I feel like with perspective, and I'll drop this and then I have another question for you guys. I remember hearing a long time ago, it was a neuroscientist. I think I listened to a podcast, and it poked my brain a bit because it was like, you can actually trick your brain, believe it or not. There goes my brain. Listen, you can literally trick your brain. And I would never claim, I didn't claim to be a weatherman this morning when I was showing people New York's rain shit. I will never claim to be a neuroscientist, but I will always say that you can totally trick your brain. So if you wake up every morning and do like a gratitude journal and meditate, do whatever you want to do to like settle your shit, is what I call it. I drink my coffee and just settle my shit. Right. And I'm like, wait, you can trick your mind to be a happier person, be a more productive person, be a person who understands the world a little better, be a more better conversationalist, like whatever, be flexible, fucking stretch your legs out. It's so simple and it takes like 15 minutes. So
So
there's
yeah,
my little
I think
life.
it's like exercise. Like when you exercise, you're working on your body parts.
Yep.
You have to maintenance your mental health. When a negative thought comes in, change it real quick. Bam, positive, negative, any positive, positive. Like just keep on. Before you know it, you don't even have to think about it anymore. And I guarantee anyone that does that, your life is going to change from. It's going to be like night and day. Guarantee it.
And then yep.
I have. So you know who Tony Robbins is?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan, and read a lot of his books. You know, listen to a lot of his things on YouTube or whatnot, seminars, and you know, you brought up the thing about gratitude for sure. You know, he teaches this thing in the morning, like the first thing, if you know, it's true, you condition yourself and you do it long enough for a while and it just becomes like second nature to you. But the first thing when you wake up is just put a thought in, what's something that you're insanely grateful for? Like the first thought, and wake up every single morning like that. And it's insane how that just sets your day up for so much more success than not doing that. And on top of that, you know, he talks about it's impossible for us to feel two things at once. We're not, when they say, people are good at multitasking, you're not actually good at multitasking. You're good at transferring real quickly back and forth between the two different things, because we can't do two things at once. But if you have, and again, we're human, we all get that. If you have a period where whatever, you're just in a funk or something's going on, you have a bad thought or something, and just like, it's just bumming you out, quickly, just if you bring something and like he teaches you to like have three things that you're most grateful for like in your entire life, from childhood up to present day, and have those kind of stored in there. And the second you get into that kind of like that low, immediately bring yourself back to the feelings that you were feeling when you became that grateful for whatever it is, that moment in your life that you just it sticks out to you, and feel those feelings again. And the second you do that, you'll be amazed of how much it just shifts your mood again, and you're right back, the right direction. And it's something that I do on the regular for sure.
Did y'all hear that shit? Listen, when I tell you this is a whole therapy session, I mean it in the best ways. I don't even do therapy. Y'all, send me the invoice. Do it. You know what I mean? You be the first guest that I pay, and I'd be damn happy to pay the two of you. Listen, so we're going to play a quick game, because I know the three of us had a lot of, we had a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun in New York. I think we're going to be here for a long time. I could keep you guys on this podcast longer, but it's Sunday night, and I want to let you guys go get to your Sunday night rituals, which I'll probably ask you before the podcast is over what those are, so people can find out. Yo, are you ready? It's a quick game about your experiences in New York City. And I just want from both of you, your voices are distinct, so people aren't going to get confused, but I want the word true or false. I haven't played a game on this show since episode 25, I think, with Zach King. It was called Questions of the Hour. I cut it. It was so cheesy. Ready? So the first one, hailing a taxi is easier said than done in New York City.
False.
You say easy? It's false.
You think it's easy?
No, it's
I think it's easy.
I think it's harder than it is.
I think it's right over here. I mean,
I don't have good luck with taxis at all.
We got one all the time from the corner.
Maybe you do, not me. Honestly, I don't, and it sucks because they're so much cheaper than Ubers. But
agree to disagree.
All right, here's the second one. You will bump into at least 3 people that you know or kind of know on the streets every single day.
Yes.
True. I love it.
New York.
Whoa,
small.
I love that.
New York is small.
Well, okay, wait. Let me agree to disagree. I'm not the two of you, so that's actually, it's either you know them. I should have asked this differently. I didn't think about it. Either you know them. I'm sure most of them, they know you, right? You guys are always getting stopped.
No, but I would say
both.
Yeah, I would say honestly, people that we know as well. It's pretty cool.
We've met I would say like more than. I mean, this is my 4th city I moved to. We've met so many people.
Yeah.
And it's like less than a year. Like I've never experienced anything like this, where meeting so many people so fast. Like these 7 to 8 months. It's probably like the average person of meeting people probably 3 to 4 years. I would say it's insane.
For sure. It's awesome. That's the reason I love the city.
What we don't know is New York City is this like time warps thing. So when you're in New York, everything just happens really, really quickly. So by the time you move to like Atlanta in about 3 years, you're actually going to be 50 years old. So, but at least you'll have a lot of friends, right?
There you go.
Listen to this one. All right. Everyone's angry here and never says hello.
I would say false.
True. No one says hello.
Okay. True. I don't know. I think I remember moving here. I was thinking that New Yorkers were like, they had, for whatever reason in my mind, like this rap, like they were kind of cold or whatnot. And I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, everyone's so nice and like welcoming.
All right,
I don't think people are angry. I think people are just focused. And I think, like you said, New York's really fast, busy. People are just kind of Zoom. People don't really say thank you. I would notice that. I hold doors for people. I know.
Yeah.
I almost never get thank you, but it's okay. I don't hold grudges.
Yeah. No grudges for sure.
If you're tuning in now and he holds the door for you, I need you to say fucking thank you. All right, question number 4.
I feel like
say thank you. That's it. Just say thank you.
Just say thank you. But real quick, Justin, on that, I feel like going back to, I think everyone here is so damn driven, which is such an awesome quality. And I remember when I first met you, that was like the first thing that came to me, like leaving that, like when we were hanging out, whatnot. And I was going back on, man, that guy just like, and you're so, for your age as well, it's like so extremely impressive.
Oh,
like,
no one's more driven than you.
It's
true.
Just a, never lose that, obviously, and I don't think you ever will, but it's such a great like quality to have, and a lot of New Yorkers have that. So I guess maybe if that's something that maybe makes people come off cold, then all right.
Come on, busy.
But
Busy,
we were
busy.
warm, you know.
No,
what I
we
mean?
were warm,
so I
yeah.
think it's
Actually, I
totally.
was freezing my ass off. It was.
We were so
so
fucking
cold.
cold that day. God, that feels like forever ago.
I know.
Damn. You know what we'll do? We'll go celebrate at Banter soon. That was the name of the brunch spot. Y'all, question number 4. It's impossible to get a. Oh, speaking of, this was actually perfect. It's impossible to get a reservation to brunch on Sunday downtown.
So we have Gio that does that for us. Justin is like the guy that just is like the friend in the group that is making all the reservations, and he's got like 3 and he'll cancel 2 of them on the way. So
and if we do a random, we'll just show up. He'll
Yeah.
drop some names. If that doesn't work, he's a firefighter, so he always
Giving
shows
away
his
the secrets.
firefighter badge.
and then that always works.
always works. No one says no to him with a firefighter.
Hey, but for good reason. New York Fire Department. There's some respect there for sure.
That's freaking it. No, I love that. All right, the next one. You'll see at least one celebrity a week at any given restaurant.
I would say false. I don't think.
Have we been eating out that much though? I don't think we've been eating out much lately.
When we first got here, it was a lot more. I don't know, but even back then, do you think we did?
I don't think so. I don't think
Mm.
we saw one.
It's harder. That's actually easier said than done. My friends are, oh my God, I see celebrities. I'm like, I have yet to see one unless we're all at an event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, yeah, it'd be tough for me to think about who I've seen like just on the street for sure.
Mm.
Yeah. Maybe
You know what
really
we'll
think
have-
about it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
We'll have to like track one and then go sit it. We'll make a reservation back spot somewhere. I think that's what you actually have to do. You have to know where they're going. We'll sit in a little corner and be like, oh my God, there's Hugh Jackman and Anderson Cooper. All right, next one. It's easy to make friends with anyone here from anywhere. I think you guys have already answered that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Last question. If you drop something out of your pocket, someone will flag you down and give it back. True or false?
True.
Sure.
I've done it, and I've had it happen to me. I guess that's good karma, right?
Yeah.
And both on bikes, on the city bikes. I was riding a bike, and I think it was may have been my wallet. No, it wasn't my wallet. I forgot what it was. Something came out of my pocket. And anyways, a guy tracked me down, caught up to me on a bike. I picked it up and gave it back to me. I was like, damn, dude, that's
Yeah.
super cool. And then just the other day, I was riding to Central Park, and this guy's keys fell out. And I picked up the keys, and he noticed a couple blocks down, and I was able to give it back to him. So returning the favor, but yeah.
I've had 2 people return my wallet. I dropped it right in front, like bam.
That's definitely not a Gucci wallet.
Yeah. Oh, it's
He
not.
said, yeah.
No, it's not no Gucci wallet. I think I did it at the airport too. But yeah, I think people that are, I've lost shit before and it sucks. So whenever I see someone drop something, like, hey, I don't want anyone to feel this pain. Grab your shit here.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, the reason I put that as the last one is because I feel like as fast paced as the city can be, New York City particularly, when you drop something, odds are no one's really going to see it. So either you can return back to the spot A, pick it up, or if someone saw it, odds are they're going to chase you down. And I guess depending on the scenario, I was on a city bike the other day and some dude had dropped his phone. And when I was coming around the corner, my dumbass FaceTimes my family on city bike very safely. So I was FaceTiming my brother. I was like, Julian, I just made a new friend. Didn't know who the fuck it was. I was like, oh, what's your name? Derek, I just lost my phone. I was like, no way, dude, you found it? He's like, yeah, I came back 30 minutes later. It's still here. So that's also a possibility that it could stay in the same spot.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? Only in New York. Wait, that's another question. We're going to keep going real quick. So can you give me an experience where you thought to yourself, oh shit, only in New York City? Think hard on this one. I want a really good answer. Like, only in New York City would this have fucking happened to me? What is that experience? I'll give you one while the 2 of you are thinking of it. Now I got to think about it. Do you have one?
I think there's some that I just really can't say on there. So.
Well, don't get yourself in trouble.
This is like badass. Like, I've never had anything like this happen to me in my life. With you, we're going to an event in it was for the show, for the finale. Remember, in Nemacolin, Pennsylvania. And like living in New York, this is insane. I'm from the suburbs, right? And like this is crazy. Like, all right, so you guys take an Uber, you're gonna go down to this heliport on the east side of the island there, Atlantic Aviation on like 30 some odd street. We're gonna get in a helicopter from a heliport on the East River, and helipad out of there takes us to the airport, to Newark International Airport. We land there at the FBO and then drive off to the main gate to get to the jet. I'm just like,
that was an awesome experience.
I've never had this happen ever.
My head was so big for like 3 days until I looked at my bank account. I'm like, I'm not a celebrity. Let me get back to real life now.
Because that happens. It's like only in New York City would you be able to do something like that.
That's
you
crazy.
know, people are doing that in the Hamptons every day. I heard that story yesterday. They're like, oh my God, you took the jitney here? And I was like, hell yeah, I took the jitney here. What you want me to do? Buy a $2,500 ticket to take a jet for a 10-hour trip? But those are just some of the things you hear. Speaking of things you hear, there's an account for anybody listening. If you want to follow it on Instagram, you know where the two of these boys are and you know where their podcast is. But there's an account called Overheard in New York. And it's funny because all the shit you hear would only happen here. You know, I would give you examples, but you know, it would take 10 minutes.
We have that in Chicago too. It's pretty funny. In Chicago, it's
only
really
there.
Only your doorman knows how slutty you are. That was one of
See? Oh my God. The things we go through here, guys, as we're wrapping. What's coming up? I feel like you guys, we covered the pilot stuff and the guaranteed karma, but what do you guys have cooking for the rest of this year? It's got a whole nother quarter and a half left.
This guy's got a cool little book to talk about.
That's right.
A children's book, The Adventures of Pilot Pete, and it's coming out. Pre-orders are going on right now, but you guys, if you're interested, link on my Instagram. Book will be here mid-November. Delivered out here. And yeah, it's about, ideally I want to make this into a series. This is the first book of it, but this is explaining my first love flying from a little kid and the whole story up to where I am now, present day. And ideally I'd love to make it like a fiction kind of series moving forward for a children's book series. So super excited. Never thought I'd be an author, but was an awesome idea. Started about a year ago, and yeah, I'm really proud of it. So excited for it to come out.
You gonna do any in-person book signings?
I am, yeah. I'll be releasing that stuff here a little closer to the date, but gonna do some readings at some schools, elementary schools around the city.
I love
here,
that.
And some bookstore stuff. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Because kids are our future. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, inspire them early.
Inspire. It's mainly about it's a pilot book, but it's about chasing your dreams. So whatever that is, find that and never let it go.
That's it, man. Dustin.
Yeah. Besides guaranteed karma and fitness in the park and such like that, I would like to start venturing out a little bit and looking more towards like me and Pete possibly hosting some shows or maybe doing some charity ball events and stuff like that.
You're in New York. I got the perfect people you could call.
We talked about that. We need to set something up, and I just love bringing people together for the right reasons. The right reasons, fuck.
Jesus, he's not Dustin from The Bachelorette. Okay.
I like bringing people together, inspiring people to do good, and I don't know. It's just a powerful calling I think I have. So I'm excited just to see what the rest of New York holds for me, man. We'll see.
I love that. This is a good place to do all of that. I think I've told people in New York, once you get the right people in your corner and the right people on board, be it a small team or a big team, you can activate a ton of events like that here. So if you're listening and you want to come to New York City anytime this fall, the three of us are probably going to do something together. So welcome, come aboard. Do you ever say that as a pilot? All aboard, or is that trains?
Absolutely, yeah. You got your welcome aboard announcement for sure.
Look at him, dude. I'll ask you to give one as we close this pod. I got one more question for you guys before we end this recording. Look at this. We're actually on time. I was like, wait, has it been an hour and a half? Has it been an hour? It's only been an hour. This is one of the first that I knew it would be an hour. So thank you for the past hour. It's been super, super, super great. You guys have such positive energy, and I think that I've gravitated towards that. It's the reason I was able to text you guys to get on this thing so quickly. Mad respect. This third time I said something like that on this episode. But if you had to consider yourself a lucky man living in New York City right now, why would that be? I just want to know, out of curiosity, be it personal or professional, whatever that is. Why would you consider yourself a lucky man in New York City? Pete and Dustin.
I'll go first. I get the most joy and pleasure out of just a nice day or night, maybe like a rainy day, cloudy day, walking just through New York, breathing fresh air. Well, I don't know if it's fresh, but just breathing air and just
Good point.
just being able to breathe and just look at like these different buildings and shit. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. I know me and P have done like some wild things like the helicopters and been invited to crazy parties, but I mean honestly those aren't the things that matter in life. Those are really cool and I'm grateful and appreciative for those, but the smallest joys that actually the smallest things that bring me the greatest joys are a walk down the block or walk in the park and just relaxing and just looking around and just people watching. That I would say I'm the luckiest because of those moments.
Yeah, I mean, to add on to that, I looked, just turned 30, and obviously I did done some reflection, recently here, kind of like a milestone birthday, and man, I'm so thankful. I got my best friend here, living in New York City. We're having the time of our lives, meeting new people, doing just insane, adventures on the daily. I'm so thankful to have my dream job now with United, based out of New York. I couldn't ask for anything else. And just being able to live in New York City, like what Dustin's saying, there's nothing quite like just going out, during the day, even at night, whatever, and just getting lost in the city, going down streets you've never been down before. And it is those little things that like I appreciate so much about, the fact that the area is not super fresh. I'd love to smell like of the subway. Like I do. I know it sounds weird, but I do.
Ooh.
No, I get it. But like I love that stuff. And like the Central Park stuff and just being able to live in just such a place like New York City, I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. So very, very, very grateful.
I couldn't have wrapped the podcast any other way. Speaking of podcasts, we'll do another one. We'll do a 2.0. I think that would be really fun. It has to be on a subway train when it's appropriate to do it without masks and actually smell that shit. Even though Dustin and I really don't want to. It's probably a Pete thing. It's definitely not an Austin thing. It's a Pete thing.
You like that smell?
I know. I'm weird like that, but
y'all, everybody who clicked play, I just want to tell you thank you. If you're back for the whatever number episode this, God, if you're back for episode 60, holy shit, Kevin O'Leary, and then we followed up. Thank you all so much. So Kevin O'Leary was last week. He did so well, and you guys are closing out right behind him. And then we'll have 40 episodes to go. We're going to 100, and I got to get my ass back to red carpet events and stuff. So this podcast means everything to me. So if you clicked play, thank you. If you're here again, thank you. And to the two of you, triple thanks. This was so cool. This was a really big milestone of mine because I was, I thought I was like, what, if I'm going to I always interview strangers. Pete, it's how we met, right? Yeah. But strangers turned friend now. I can say that about probably almost 60 of these guests, and it's really cool. But that to have friends now as an episode is even cooler because look, that conversation was kind of not even built. I would say the part that was the most premeditated was the question game. Other than that, I was just listening. I was like, wait, just roll, keep rolling, keep fucking rolling. As I know that both of you will do. So Pete, I said this earlier, so I'm a man of my word. Man of the hour, man of the word, right? So listen to this. Give us your best United Airlines flight, whatever number that would be, takeoff call, and then I'm going to roll out the outro audio. So thanks again, everybody, for listening. And here's Mr. Pilot Pete, supported by Dustin Kendrick. Just do it, bro.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I'd like to welcome you aboard United Airlines Flight 747, nonstop service to the men of the hour.
I love you, boys. Thank you so much again.
All right, man. Of course. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.